Welcome to the Wrestling Replay. It's CATO here with your AEW Dynamite Replay of the week. We have gotten over the hump that is Hump Day. The weekend's right around the corner, and we had another pretty good episode of Dynamite. Not as good as the ones that we had in the previous weeks. They seem to be losing a little bit of steam as we head into the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So I hope that they pick it up in the next week before we get to that pay-per-view event. All right. Let's start out the show with Christian Cage going against Matt Sydal. Now, Matt Sydal has been someone that I have loved over the years, but I just feel he's a bit undersized. But that does not matter in AEW. He has found a home in AEW. Christian has decided to make AEW his new home, getting a win over Matt Sydal, opening up the show. Now, I will say this about these two. They had really good chemistry. Surprisingly, I thought we was going to get this high-flying style from Matt Sydal that Christian wouldn't be able to deal with. But the match actually kind of opened up with these two wrestling a little bit. So their style and their chemistry meshed really, really well. But as we know, that Christian is someone that didn't bring into the company just to sit around or just to have these smaller matches. He's building his own momentum, going into what I believe the pay-per-view to win the Casino Battle Royale, where he will get his shot against Kenny Omega if he holds on to that title, which I think he will in this triple threat match coming up at the pay-per-view. Now, I understand that Christian Cage won, but for Matt Sydal, I will say that he's also gained a little bit momentum as well for the fact that he was able to actually hang with Christian a little bit. But as Christian Cage have proven before, all it takes is one mishap for Christian to put your lights out for the 3 count. But Matt Sydal still continues to grow as a single and a tag team competitor, which you have to notice. So he has a chance in that Casino Battle Royale, but my pick for that is definitely Christian Cage. In the next match, we had Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston going against the Acclaim. Now, let me say this. The Acclaim is one of the tag teams of the future in AEW. I'm going to say that right now. Max Caster is a monster. I love what he does on mic, in ring. So him and his tag team, he really brings something to that tag team. But that's a guy who I think he can do it on a single end as well. But these two guys did not get the job done against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, which I believe is just building more momentum. It just set the pace for Moxley and Eddie Kingston to go against the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing for those tag team titles. Now, we know that Moxley and Kingston have been trying to stick it back to the Elite, and what better way to do that than take away the tag team titles from the Young Bucks, the Bucks who are red hot right now. Like, ever since their heel turn, they've been even better. This is the best the Young Bucks we may have seen in AEW thus far. Now we just got to continue to pair them up with good tag teams and continue to get great matches like we did last week against SCU. So hats off to Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley for, winning this match and now finally get that championship opportunity to go against the Young Bucks. But the Acclaim, hats off to you guys as well. I think you guys are definitely the tag team of the future, and it's only up from here. To be honest, you were the number one ranked tag team, and did not really receive your shot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys getting a tag team title shot sometime in the future because they're still ranked pretty high in that tag team division. We also had Shida going against Rebel, and that match went exactly how you thought it would go. Shida defeated Rebel, of course, but more so what happened after the match is what we all thought this match was for anyway. It gave Britt Baker the opportunity to attack Shida, to weaken her a little bit up, to play a little bit of mind games, to gain some momentum of her own going into the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And I hate to say it, guys, I think Shida's title run is coming to an abrupt end when she meets Britt Baker in that ring for that championship. Britt Baker is someone that the company seems to be behind right now. Her promos are great. In-ring ability has always been good. So I think it's Britt Baker time to actually become the champion of that women's division. And with her having Rebel in her corner, that only strengthens her chances of making that a reality sooner than later. And speaking of women champions, we had Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion, go against Red Velvet. Now, I am impressed by Red Velvet week after week. I believe that she continues to get better and better every time we see her in the ring. Now, the fact that Red Velvet is in the ring constantly with some of the top tier women in AEW, that just shows the belief that they have in Red Velvet. This could be one of those stars 2-3 years down the line where we're like, wow, okay, she started out here, but now she's, in the upper echelon of that women's division. She's just constantly improving. And the more and more that she faces these champions and these top tier women, these top ranked women right now in the division, she's only going to learn and get even more better. Now, with that said, she was not able to get past the technically sound Serena Deeb tonight. The champion is a champion for a reason, and she went out there and proved it. She broke down Red Velvet piece by piece all the way to the end of the match. She wore her down. She worked on that leg. She locked it into that submission, and enjoyed watching her in the ring, because my favorite wrestler of all time was Bret the Hitman Hart, and she reminds me of a female version of Bret Hart. She's not gonna wow you with crazy moves, but everything she does is calculated and it makes sense. It tells that story inside the ring. And that's what I'm a big fan of, when wrestlers tell the story inside the ring and it actually leads you from point A to point B to point C of how I broke you down and was able to beat my opponent. So that's what I like a lot about Serena. And she did the same thing here in this match with Red Velvet. Just putting that technical ability on display once again. Now, we talked about Shida, we talked about Baker, we talked about Serena Deeb. There's one woman that's missing out of this equation, and that's Thunder Rosa. She had a great match last week, completely demolished the competition. She's the former NWA Women's Champion. So I would love to see a match where all four of these women somehow, get it on. I wouldn't say it's for both titles or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind seeing a nice fatal four-way between those four women. I think that would be an awesome match. But that's just me thinking way into the future. Let's go ahead and get into this next match with Anthony Ogogo defeating Austin Gunn of the Nightmare Family. Now, Austin Gunn, he's pretty good. I've got to see Austin Gunn on numerous occasions. I got to see him live in person. He's really, really good, but he was not able to put any of that on display tonight against Anthony Ogogo. Only issue with this match is Ogogo, it wasn't really a wrestling match. It was more so like a beatdown. Ogogo, once he hit him with a few of those punches, he had Gunn coughing up blood. He couldn't continue. The ref had to actually stop the match because Gunn could not continue inside the match. He pretty much knocked him out cold. When I'm looking at this match and I'm looking at what happened inside the ring, Anthony Ogogo didn't really do anything to show me that he's going to have a really good match with Cody Rhodes. They painted Ogogo as to be like a Terminator, and Cody has to figure out whatever he needs to figure out to somehow piece together the puzzle and defeat a guy like Anthony Ogogo. How are you going to stay away from these hands? You're not going to be able to box him. You're going to have to somehow out-wrestle him, but how can you out-wrestle him when you're too scared to get close because of that power he has in both fists, right? I don't know how we got from the Nightmare Family in the factory to it feeling like the cap, like the tippity top of this feud is somehow Anthony Ogogo and Cody Rhodes. That's like kind of weird to me. I can understand QT Marshall being his best friend. I can understand QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes, seeing as though they was a tag team. But Anthony Ogogo was someone that was pretty much in the training facility of the Nightmare Family before all this feud really took place. So now with Ogogo being the one, I guess, to, put Britain on his back and Cody put America on his back, and these guys go at it in whatever type of wrestling match or match we're going to have, it doesn't make much sense. Like, I understand the Nightmare Family and the Factory feuding together. I much prefer to see just both teams just go ahead and get it on in a big brawl or whatever style match you want to do, but I don't have much steam. I don't see much momentum or much build or why I would want to watch Anthony Ogogo and Cody Rhodes. Cody did a great promo last week. He really sold the match. And Anthony Ogogo, he looked like he has star written all over him. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, okay, maybe if a Go-Go was attacking and dominating more of the factory members or the Nightmare family members, then it would be okay. I will understand it. But when I think of Cody, I think of the guy at the very top of his faction, right? When I think of Anthony Go-Go, I think of him as more of a middleman. I think QT Marshall to be at the top of his faction. So with us already getting Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall, it's like we're going backwards now to get Anthony Go-Go and Cody Rhodes. Like, you already beat the boss. You don't go back and beat up the little guys afterwards. That doesn't make any sense. Either way, we're still going to get this match at Double or Nothing, and I'm still going to be tuned and locked in. Hopefully, it's a better match than we had with him and Austin Gunn, where he pretty much demolished Austin Gunn in a few punches. Now, on to our main event. We had the Young Bucks versus the Varsity Blondes. Now, just like the Acclaim, I think the Varsity Blondes are another tag team of the future. Like, years down the line, these two tag teams, I think, are going to be the pinnacle of tag team wrestling in AEW. I love the Varsity Blondes. I love their look, that throwback 90s style haircut, the varsity jackets, even their tag team style in ring reminds me of the 90s. It reminds me of when wrestling captured me and I was like in awe of everything they was doing. And this tag team, the Varsity Blondes, oh my goodness, doesn't it just remind you of the Hollywood Blondes a little bit? Just a little bit. Oh my God. Like, when these two guys really come into their zone and they get really comfortable in their characters and they find whatever niche they need and they nail it, these guys are going to be unstoppable. I can't wait to see these guys 2-3 years down the line. These guys in the Acclaim, I got my eye on. I think these are going to be like the tag teams that constantly bump heads inside of this division. And look at the teams they have right now in the division of AEW to learn from and to just gain some knowledge from. But either way, as good as I think the Varsity Blondes will be, they weren't good enough tonight to knock off the tag team champions. The Young Bucks notch another win under their belt. I have to say, the Young Bucks on this heel run has been like the greatest version of the Young Bucks that I've seen in AEW so far. Only thing I wish is that we could have got matches like the Death Triangle, maybe Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix again. I would have loved to see that again, where the Bucks are actually legit heels this time. This heel run has been stellar. Hats off to these guys. Even Kenny Omega, his heel run, he turned it up a notch. It's like the whole elite really turned it up when they decided to turn heel, which I think they're more comfortable being regardless. After the match is where the future challengers gave the champions a little taste of what they can expect. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley came down, pretty much choked out the Young Bucks, man. So we know what we're going to get. We're going to get Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, the Young Bucks for those tag team titles. And I've been saying for a while now that the elite is gaining some enemies, and what's going to happen is you're going to have guys like Moxley, like Eddie Kingston, like Frankie Kazarian. These guys are going to end up forming a little temporary faction to go against the elite, and that's going to lead to someone really getting a true one-on-one match with Kenny Omega, where he will not have anyone in his corner to be able to help him. Now, if we have Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Frankie Kazarian, let's remember this right now. Kenny Omega has a triple threat match coming up. Pac and Orange Cassidy. That's two more guys that could join this little group to help keep away any of the elite members to open up a true one-on-one match for someone like Christian Cage, who may be winning that Casino Battle Royale, or someone like Heyman Page, who could go back to #1 contender rank if he defeats Brian Cage at Double or Nothing. I think the elite is actually biting off more than they can chew by actually creating all these enemies along the way of these guys forming up into their group. That was pretty much your AEW Dynamite review. It wasn't the best show of weeks. It wasn't a bad show at all, but we've seen better weeks before, and I think they need to turn it up just a notch, maybe next week heading into that Double or Nothing pay-per-view to really bring some more momentum and get some more steam behind them. So, with all that said, guys, what do you think about Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley going against the Young Bucks for their tag team championships? Do you think it's time for the Bucks to drop those tag team titles? And more importantly, do you think it's time for Britt Baker to become the AEW Women's Champion? I think so, man. I'm team Britt Baker, man. I like her, man. She got everything. She got everything you would want in a champion right now, and I think it's time to crown her, congratulate her, and give her her flowers along with that AEW Women's Championship. I believe that Kenny Omega will make it out the triple threat match with his title intact, opening it up for someone like Christian Cage. And let me know what you guys think. Who will win that Casino Battle Royal? We are just, weeks away? It's right around the corner. Who you guys think is going to win? And lastly, who do you guys think is going to win that Casino Battle Royale? I think Christian Cage got it on lock. It's right around the corner. I'm getting excited. It's like AEW version of the Royal Rumble. So I'm looking forward to that pay-per-view. Just want them to build a little bit more steam and momentum before we get there. And that's all I really got to say about AEW, man. These guys have been killing it this year thus far. Absolutely killing it. Before I go, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and make sure you follow us at The Wrestling Replay on Instagram so you can enter the giveaway to win that Razor Ramon collector's box. It's a really cool box. I should have bought two so I could have one for myself, but I didn't. Oh well, this is for you guys. Just a big thanks for watching, subscribing, tuning in, liking, commenting, DMing, all of that good stuff. All right, thank you so much. I'm CATO. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys Friday night for SmackDown. All right, peace.